Kevin Bucci back on SportsCenter. Sacktown NBA Summer League action. Heat, Kings, Warriors, Lakers all in action. LeBron James elected not to play. Like a Kardashian Instagram account, Mo Wagner showed a little bit of everything on Thursday.
Here's Mo
Three-pointer.
And he connects.
Get on.
That in the
Sticks the three. A couple possessions later, Wagner reacting early. And then pushes and then finds Svi Mikhailuk.
Wow.
Kid out of Kansas, shooter. He's going to make that team. Second quarter, Wagner in the paint, working, physical. What a tournament he had. He had 13 rebounds in the game. Later, Wagner, good defense, forcing the miss. And then in the open floor, you know, LeBron likes those outlet passes. He had a ton of assists in transition this past year. He'll like playing alongside Mo. Fourth quarter, J.P. Tokoto tries to throw it down, get that weak joint out of here. Look at Wagner, he had double-double, 13 points, 13 rebounds. Lakers, though, would lose. Second game, Kings and Heat. Second overall pick, Marvin Bagley. He just exploded out of the gates his first game. I think he had like 29. He struggled big time in this one. Against the stronger Bam Adebayo. Adebayo played 69 games last season with the Heat. Big fella, look at the position, and Bagley's going to have to get in the weight room a little bit here. Dealing with Adebayo again, but Bam. Summer League kind of like summer school. Adebayo at 14 and 9. How about Derek Jones Jr.? 52 games played in the NBA. Played a year of college at UNLV. Forces Bagley into the travel. Now on defense, Jones, look at the speed. It's a different level at this level. Jones had 19 points. Bagley trying to come back on the other end. He turns it over again. He had 1 point, Bucci, in 29 minutes.
He had a hard time getting off his own shot, I think.
I think so.
For a while, anyway.
Good night, though, for Jones. You might remember this guy, former slam dunk contest finalist of the NBA, won the high school slam dunk contest in 2015. Fourth quarter, watch and enjoy.
Oh, my goodness gracious! Derek Jones Jr. with authority.
Airplane mode!
Just cocked it back, and he kept it back there, and
Oh, my God.
I mean,
It's like Dominique level stuff there.
that is, look out below.
He's skinny, too. That's powerful.
Man,
Look at that.
19 and all for Derek Jones Jr. The Heat win 96, 86, 76.
Doris Burke and I were born 84 days apart, but tonight we're worlds apart. She's in Vegas. I'm in Connecticut. The Vegas Summer League kicks off tomorrow night right here on ESPN. Doris, you, of course, will be calling the games. I was there last year. Had a great time. A lot of fun. Who are you most looking forward to see play this year, and why?
Well, Mr. Butchergrass, I get my first up-close and personal look at the #1 overall selection, DeAndre Ayton. And let's remember, if you listen to Pac-12 coverage and our own Bill Walton describe this man, he said he reminds me of David Robinson with a jump shot. We're talking about 7 foot, 250-plus pounds of nothing but skilled. And maybe my favorite thing about DeAndre Ayton is this. You think about that scandal that hit Arizona in the wake of the college basketball scandal overall, and in the first 20 minutes that young man played, he played with an edge, and he was an absolute terror, and that edge will help him in the NBA. Mr. Ayton, I can't wait to see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, I've never seen a big man move like him on defense with his feet. He looks like a guard guarding people. Let's talk about free agency, Doris. The Lakers are trying to build a course around LeBron James, like the Cavaliers did so many years ago. What's your impression of what you've seen so far?
Well, it's fascinating to me in this way. During the course of the regular season, as it started to wind down, Butchie, I had heard that LeBron James perhaps was interested in moving off the basketball. And obviously, with Lonzo Ball and Rajon Rondo, two non-shooting point guards, you devalue both players if you take the ball out of their hands. So I'm curious to see, listen, LeBron's going to play with the ball in his hands when it matters. How much of a stylistic change does this represent for LeBron James in terms of strategically. A lot of talk about him going onto the post, just like Michael, just like Kobe. Only think about this. We're talking about 6'8", 260 on the post. Those other two guys, hyper-skilled, hyper-competitive, not the body LeBron has. So a lot of intriguing possibilities there.
And the league is smaller as well, so you're right. He could be a major force down there. And finally, who do you think has been the biggest winner, team or player, in NBA free agency?
Well, I'm going to say free agency as a whole is incomplete until we know what happens with Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, what struck me was that LeBron James switching to the Western Conference, going to one of the most storied franchises, was news for all of about 24 hours because of the bombshell that was DeMarcus Cousins signing. I just think DeMarcus Cousins is a 25-10, 5-assist guy. He's a monster talent with so much at stake and so little risk for Golden State. It's hard for me not to pick Golden State.
Doris Burke, back in black and back on ESPN tomorrow.
League sources told ESPN that the two-time All-NBA forward wants out of San Antonio with a preference to be traded to the Lakers. Leonard had grown frustrated with how the organization handled his quad injury and feels the franchise turned on him once he sought a second opinion. 4 days later, Leonard met with Greg Popovich out in San Diego with hopes to discuss the issues that have caused their rocky relationship. Leonard had told confidants that he did not want to sit down with Pop, and he had been purposely difficult for the Spurs to reach. All this time, Kawhi had made it known that he prefers to go to the Lakers, and, well, the Spurs weren't having any of that. On June 21st, San Antonio shut the door on Los Angeles during a call regarding a trade for Leonard. However, negotiations did reopen and continue. Then July 1st, while LeBron James agreed to a 4-year, $154 million deal with L.A., Leonard's focus remained unchanged. That, according to our agent, Wojnarowski, he wants to wear the purple and gold and join the Lakers. Leonard could be a free agent after next season.
Stephen A. Smith joining us now right off the First Take special. Stephen A., with each passing day, what's the likelihood Kawhi Leonard will still be a Spur when the season begins?
Well, I still think it's 50-50. First of all, the San Antonio Spurs are not inclined to do business with the Los Angeles Lakers. We know the only reason this is a consideration is because Kawhi Leonard looked Greg Popovich in the face, told him he wants to be out, he wants to leave San Antonio, and obviously the word is leaked to everybody. Everybody and their grandmother knows he wants out of San Antonio so he can go to the Los Angeles Lakers. More importantly, the other teams in the league know he wants to be there, and as a result, he would just be a one-year rental. And considering how valuable of an asset he is, to have to give up so much just to get a one-year rental is not something most teams are inclined to do. As a result, forcing San Antonio to do business with the Lakers or pretty much no one else. It's also putting Magic Johnson in the sweet position of diminishing the level of urgency there is to acquiring Kawhi Leonard, because if he doesn't acquire Kawhi Leonard now, he's of the belief that Kawhi Leonard ultimately will come there next summer. Now what I'm hearing also is the name Damian Lillard, because even though Damian Lillard wants to stay in Portland, and that is his preference, he is also aware of the fact that the Portland Trailblazers are going to have difficulty acquiring marquee free agents. As a result of that, word is leaking out that he would be willing to depart from Portland, even though that's still his preference to stay. He would be willing to depart from Portland to head for the Lakers or the New York Knicks in one of those larger markets. If that were to happen, because that's a reality, rather, you have a situation where Magic Johnson could either continue trying to do business with the San Antonio Spurs to acquire Kawhi Leonard or say, bump it. You know what? I'll wait until next summer when Kawhi is an unrestricted free agent, free to come with us. And now I'll turn my attention to Damian Lillard, who has 3 years left on his deal. And maybe the same assets we were going to offer San Antonio, we can now offer to the Portland Trail Blazers in return for the services of a Damian Lillard. And those players would include Alonzo Ball. It would include Brandon Ingram. It would include Josh Hart, maybe even a pick for Damian Lillard. So stay tuned. There's a lot going on right now. We'll see how things unfold.
All right, you mentioned Damian. It was my next question. A fan asked him on Twitter if he'd be happy to join the Lakers and LeBron, and he tweeted back, I'm typically a happy camper. What are the chances Dame pushes to get out of Portland and go to L.A.?
Well, again, it's a difficult situation to surmise because on one hand, Damian Lillard is incredibly happy. Not only is he making in excess of $27 million over the next 3 years, keep in mind that when you take into endorsement that he is the face of that franchise and the face, essentially, of basketball in the Pacific Northwest. So you're talking about him getting anywhere from $40 to $47 million annually coming in. He ain't broke. He doesn't need the money. He's getting paid handsomely, and he's the star out there. So he doesn't mind being out there at all. The problem is Portland has been to the playoffs the last 5 straight years, but they've been bounced out in the first round 3 of those 5 years, including the last 2 years. And when he gets on the phone with the Jimmy Butlers of the world and others, they've made it very, very clear, we love Damian Lillard. You're our brother. We got nothing but love and respect for you. We'd love to play for you, but it ain't too many of us that's willing to come out to the Pacific Northwest and play in Portland. That's the only reason why Damian Lillard would want to move on from there. So since he's willing to move on from there, if indeed they can't get other parts, Portland's under the gun to either deliver him some assets so they can improve and not get swept by the likes of Anthony Davis and the New Orleans Pelicans, or they could move him, make C.J. McCollum the face of the franchise because they could get some instrumental parts for the services of Damian Lillard. It's in Portland's hands because they have him locked in for the next 3 years. They do not want to lose him. They love him, but they recognize the fact that if they can't improve the team, it might be best for them to make a move. Whatever that move is remains to be seen.
Stephen A. Smith, thank you, brother.
All right.
Bagley's struggling early, shot clock winding down. Bagley kicks it out, gets it back. Can't get the shot off in time. That's a shot clock violation. Later in the first, Bagley tries to drive into traffic, but he's called for a travel. Now, give him a couple years in the league, and he's a veteran, then he'll get away with that. But he's not. It's the summer league. 0 points in the first half for Bagley. Second quarter, heat up 1, Derrick Jones Jr. Oh, sir. You'll see that on Top Plays tonight. If you weren't before, we'll just tell him to put it in now. Jones Jr. showing off the athleticism right now. Heat up 57-48 on the King.
More Summer League. Lakers, Warriors, Mo Wagner. Lakers first-round draft pick. Alex Caruso with a nice behind-the-back dish for Wagner for 3. A little later, off a Warriors miss, running the floor. The big man, throw it down, big fella. Then late first half, fadeaway jumper from the baseline. This kid's got everything.
Don't you sleep on Wagner.
Yeah, 13 points, 13 boards, 4 blocks. Second half, Warriors up 9. Wagner double-teamed and stripped in transition. Watch Ryan Brown, the alley-oop for J.P. Takoto. That's nice. That's very nice. One more time in slow motion, please. Warriors take this one 77-71. Again, Wagner 13, 13, and 4. Here are the top 5 free agents left, according to ESPN.com. The key factor here is they're all restricted free agents. The Rockets lost Trevor Ariza to the Suns, but they look to keep Clint Capella, who posted career highs in points and rebounds per game last season. The Celtics, they were 1 win away from reaching the finals, thanks in part to Marcus Smart. Smart played only 54 games last season for Boston after suffering a thumb injury. Former number 2 overall pick Jabari Parker of the Bucks has torn his ACL in his left knee twice over his first 3 seasons, the most recent of which prevented him from reaching starter criteria last season. Zach LaVine didn't see the court often in his first season with the Bulls, playing only 24 games after recovering from a torn ACL himself. He was injured in 2017. And in his first full season with the Blazers, Yusuf Nurkic posted 27 double-doubles. He only had 21 double-doubles in his first 3 seasons in the league combined.
Our NBA insider, Ramona Shelburne, joining us now. Ramona, we've got Clint Capella on ESPN.com listed as the top available free agent left. What do you see happening with Clint Capella?
Well, I think as things stand right now, he looks like a guy who has to decide if he's going to sign that qualifying offer and then enter unrestricted free agency next year. That's a big risk for the Houston Rockets to take because he has become part of their big 3. But from what I understand, his initial meeting with the Rockets didn't go as he was expecting it to. There's not a big long-term offer out here that he feels comfortable signing right now. And he's been talking to other teams. The problem is nobody really has the cap space to make a compelling offer to make Houston nervous that he could potentially leave or even to match that offer sheet. And so he's got a tough decision to make. Do you take a chance, sign the qualifying offer, and then enter unrestricted free agency next year? I think he's leaning towards that, but there's still a long ways to go in this offseason.
Yeah, a lot of times teams are gambling on players, and in reality, sometimes players have to gamble on themselves. One of the players we're talking about that's not on the top 5 list of players, Isaiah Thomas. Ooh. What a difference a year makes. Coming off hip surgery and traded to the Lakers after not fitting in with LeBron and the Cavs in Cleveland. What's the latest, Ramona, on where IT will land?
Well, he just lost one of his biggest leverage chips here, one of his best options when the Lakers went and got LeBron James. They obviously have filled out their roster. They don't have much cap space left. And I know they had an interest in bringing Isaiah Thomas back on a one-year deal, sort of a short-term deal, because they liked what he gave them last year. He came in, was a great veteran presence, but now with LeBron James in town, they've already filled out their backcourt. They don't have nearly enough salary cap space to give him the kind of contract he's looking for. So he's going to have to wait, and he may end up signing a veteran minimum deal or a mid-level exception. It's unbelievable to me where he's gone from one year to the next, but wherever he hooks on, I wouldn't count that guy out. I just saw him a couple of weeks ago at the draft. The draft ended. It was about 11 o'clock at night. We were all at home. Guess who was in the Laker gym shooting buckets? The last pick in the draft from when his draft year was Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that when he gets that opportunity, he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder to prove that so many teams messed up on that. Ramona's going to be back in just a bit to tell us why LeBron James is all in on some of these Lakers signings.